Hello, everybody. My name is Sara Botti. I'm the European Project Manager at the Chamber of Craft of the Auvergne-Rhône Alpes region. Thank you for being here today with us to this conference, which is called Overcoming the Gender Gap in Craft Entrepreneurship through Non-Formal Learning Methods. We are going to present you the experience of ESTEEM, which is an European project co-funded by the Erasmus Plus program. Before to start with our conference, just a couple of quick information. The webinar is recorded, and today we have participants that are here in presence with us in Lyon, but we have also a number of participants online. The webinar is recording again, but for the people who are online, your micro is switched off. But you can use the chat box to share any questions on any observation that you want to share with us. We will reply at the questions at the end of this meeting. So about ESTEEM. The meaning of ESTEEM is quite challenging, or it's quite difficult to understand. The meaning of the acronym is enhance, stimulate, and stimulate trust while exploring new form of entrepreneurship models. As I told you before, it's a project, it's a European project, and what you have to understand is simply that our goal is to support entrepreneurship in the craft sector, and most notably women entrepreneurship. The project idea is based on a very simple fact. In 2019, only 27% of the business leaders in the craft sector here in the Auvergne Rhône region were women. So, and experts told us that there are many reasons why women create less enterprises than men, because they face obstacles in terms of financing, in terms of time, but also in terms of self-esteem. So through this project, we wanted to explore these obstacles and to provide solutions, innovative methods and tools to support the overcoming of these obstacles and improve professional diversity in this sector. Together with us, the Chamber of Craft of the Auvergne-Rhône Alpes region, which is the coordinator of this project at European level, we have worked with APECVA, which is a network of sport psychologists of the Valencia department in Spain. We have with us the ISCTE, which is a technological university in Lisbon, Portugal, and also TDM 2000 International, which is a network of youth organization at international level. We work together on 4 main topics, and the purpose of the conference today is to present our activities, the results, and share with you our experience, as well as the studies, the methodologies, and the tools that we have developed during the project. So the presentation will go through these 4 main activities, and every partner will present the activity that has led in the partnership. So we will talk about a study on the psychological codes and cognitive aspects of a business leader. We will present you also the innovative models around female leadership, the role plays that we have developed to encourage good analytical practices between business managers, and finally, but not least important, the educational activities and tools to increase entrepreneurial skills and facilitate the access to financing based on an informal educational approach. So I'll lead the micro to my colleague, and Tony.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tony Núñez. I'm glad to stay here, and I will try to explain our tasks on this project. As Sarah has said, I'm here representing APECVA. Um, our first task, we were in charge of developing the first step or the first brick of the STEAM project. This was important because this is the first point to the next steps. As you know, actually or currently gender equality is a relevant issue. The United Nations, put it on the fifth goal that said achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. This point need to remember the importance of breaking the different barriers, gender barriers, stereotypes, and prejudices for the sake of advance or achieve this gender equality. Please, thank you. In general terms, our work consisted of looking for biopsychosocial codes and cognitive aspects that would influence women's entrepreneurship. We also wanted to check if there were differences between men and women in these psychological factors. This preliminary study would serve to develop this final study report on the psychological codes and cognitive aspects of a business leader, woman or man, in order to make a differential evaluation focused on women and thus be able to develop subsequent proposals for change and personal development. In short, we investigated what psychological factors affected women's entrepreneurship in order to enhance those factors that were in deficit. Next one, please. Our first steps for the development of this task were the first one, develop a plan to work with it. The second point was the selection of which psychological factors we need to study, and then develop a questionnaire to evaluate it. The fourth point was to develop a focus groups in order to complete the quantitative information of the data obtained with the questionnaires with another data more qualitative. And then the last point, the fifth, was to contrast or integrate these different data. It's important these 5 points because with these points we develop a guidelines to the next steps of the project. With the basic conclusions we have obtained with this data was women in the groups studied are just as entrepreneurial as men. They have the same perception of low efficacy. There are no differences between men and women within this factor. For us, the most important thing is that a half of the people evaluated refer that have no information about the type of support available or about the organizations that offer it. And the third one is the age and the academic level is not related with entrepreneurship abilities or skills. The fourth, I said it, there are no differences between men and women. The fifth point is that self-efficacy correlates, self-efficacy is something like self-esteem, for example, correlates highly with the other skills and abilities. This point is important because if we put high self-efficacy on people, the other skills maybe could be increased. And the last one is that the emotional intelligence is another important psychological factor, psychosocial factor. Finally, as I said, it's important that the recommendations that we were able to extract for the following intellectual outputs or the next steps or this project where psychological factors like self-efficacy or self-esteem, the work with emotions, the control of the environment, or the perceived barriers that women perceive are the priority to train in order to improve women entrepreneurs. Develop clear, simple, and effective improvement strategies to develop these psychosocial factors. Adapt the evaluation and subsequent interventions to national characteristics, because the different countries in the project have different profiles of entrepreneurs. And the last one, develop communication strategies with the institutions to raise awareness and to promote support and training programs. That's all from my part.
This is just to inform you that the study that we have produced during the project and which explains all the results or our activity and results is published and available, and we will show later on link to it.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you to the Chamber of Commerce for the organization of this event, an ESTEEM event. So ISCTE is a public university in Lisbon, and we joined this project to develop applied research, meaning that our partners and all together we decided to have an aim, an objective, and we had to find a scientific answer like our previous partners did, but we were concentrating on all the literatures, all the documents that were produced about entrepreneurship and women's entrepreneurship. With the work developed by our colleagues and with the work developed by us, we produced 2 reports that were used and that are available for everyone, so the audience can, by the link, get into it. We produced 3 models for pilot training. So being a leader, about leadership, building or recovering trust, about the trust relations. So all of these are soft skills that are needed for entrepreneurship, and overcoming challenges, and also trying to see if women and men perceive challenges and obstacles in the same way. And finally, we have a coaching with individual sessions for people who were attending our training sessions. So this is the toolkit that we are delivering in open access and that everyone can have access. And we combine all what were our scientific results with our experience while dealing with scientific literature, but also reports from international organizations and other associations or institutions of civil society. So we have these 3 models that I previously talked about, but then we also have an introduction, and this model is for trainers. So this is to know what's about in our package. All the modules have instructions, so it's very easy to use, and it's open access, as I told before. So here we have the trainer's skilling. This was the introduction to the modules. We developed this activity in partnership with the Fundação da Juventude, which is the Portuguese Foundation for Youth. And we try to create a toolkit that is versatile and can be easily adapted to different publics, meaning to men and women, and although paying attention to gender differences, and also to young people, but to new entrepreneurs, but also to entrepreneurs that already are established. It offers materials to help to skill in specific areas, and we try to combine the theoretical results of the project with practical exercises. So they were converted in practical exercises that everyone can do. It reinforces leadership through the identification and overcoming of challenges and actions to build trust while providing knowledge about the kinds of leadership. So we try to explain the different kinds of leaderships, and at the same time, how to be able to achieve the leadership that is adapted to our business or to our kind of business. So it was designated specifically for women's entrepreneurship, but as I said before, it can be applied to every gender. There's no, it's not genders biased in that sense. These are some photos of our training in ISCTE, so in the university where I work, but also in the Fundação da Juventude. So the results, this is the perception of our training and the perception of the trainees that were with us, the Portuguese team. So they enjoyed very much the approach, the fact it was interactive, and the content we had. They required a language better adapted to youth, but we were using the modules in English, so we were delivering in Portuguese while we were using the modules in English, and maybe this was something that was not so easy for them. Better interaction between participants, because some easily participate, others not, so they were asking games to make them more enthusiastic about this. And some of them thought we had too much content in the modules. But when you look to the numbers we have above, we can see that in green and in orange, we have the satisfied and very satisfied, that agree or totally agree and think we achieve our objectives or totally achieve our objectives with the application of the module. So you can see this is a very representative percentage. So they were enjoying, and they really thought it was useful for their activity to participate in our trainings. For us as a partner, this was important to engage directly with the civil society and with the entrepreneurs. It was a great opportunity to deliver directly to society, but also to develop a study based on the needs that were already identified. So for us, it was very stimulating, and we hope to keep on working on this area, and also to continue to engage with not only with Fundação da Juventude, which participating in the training sessions, but also with the Associação. Also, this is an entrepreneurs association of region of Portugal, by the Interior, who participated in our in other parts of our activities, like the role plays that we will talk further.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm from the Chamber of Crafts in Lyon, and I'm going to talk to you about the activity we worked on here in Lyon, which has for objective to set up good analytical practices between business managers, notably women, to break the entrepreneurship isolation. Basically, what we proposed were workshops in form of role plays, where entrepreneurs or future entrepreneurs had to interact in business situations that they will probably have to face during the entrepreneurial journey, like a banking meeting or HR management or commercial negotiation. And we proposed to them to interact in those situations with an expert every time in order to test themselves and test their entrepreneurial posture. So to build this activity, we did it in 3 steps. The first step was to build the role plays and how they would be managed. So we did script templates that I will talk to you about later. Then we had to recruit participants. We usually preferred small groups, but I will come back to that later. And once we did this first step, we did the second step, which is like organizing the role play. So we will assign a participant a distinctive role, and then we will stage the role play for a midday, like an afternoon. And we will have the possibility to record this role play in order to analyze the posture of the entrepreneur and later give them an individual feedback with an observation report. But can you change the slide? I will talk to you about the key aspects of those role plays. First of all, in which formats we would prefer them to be done. We found them more efficient in person than in remote meetings, because it gives the opportunity to the entrepreneur to have a real interaction and to network with other participants. We usually did small groups of people. There are like 6-8 people tops in those interventions to make the participants comfortable, because they have to play a part. They have to be in a kind of a stressful situation. So it's better if there is not too much people, and allows them to be open and to not feel too much judged or criticized. We did every time maximum 4 participants at a time. So 4 future or newly established business manager who will be playing their own roles as a business manager. 1 or 2 role models or experts. It's the person the participants will interact with during the role play, and 1 or 2 moderators who can facilitate the role play in a logistic point of view. So usually, for example, we did it with ESTEEM members, and that will provide individual feedback. We advise to have a main context planned for each role play, and in those contexts have maximum 3 different scenarios that can be played by each participant. Some of them can play 2 or 3 of them if they want. Each scenario should take 10 to 15 minutes tops, every scenario is played by a different business manager, and the role model can be played by the same person for all of them. We personally choose to have a different role model for each of the workshops that took place, so they could have really significant skills according to the team we had prepared. Once we do the role play, we have an immediate feedback for each participant. Everyone can participate to this feedback. The person that just did the role play can have a self appreciation of her or his intervention. Each participant will also give a constructive point of view, and then the experts as well as the moderator can comment on their interaction. We also have a final wrap-up session, which is a global review of the activity at the end of each workshop, to see all of the positive aspects and also some negative aspects or things to work on that participants felt during the workshop. We mainly had really good reviews about the participants. I will talk to that about that after. But first, I'm going to talk about the personal feedback because we do a quick feedback during the day of the workshop. But we also do usually a few days or a few weeks after the intervention, an individual appointment with each participant to give them their observation reports, which reveals their strengths and weaknesses in terms of entrepreneurial posture. We also show them, if they agreed to be recorded, we show them short times of the video to show them their behavior on screen, and sometimes it can be really efficient for them to see what they do, what they're good at, and what they need to work on. We talk with them about possible evolutions and how they can improve their weaknesses. And we give them these written observation reports. So we did 3 sessions each country of those role play. We chose global topics for each of them. The first one was commercial negotiation. There was 3 scenarios: meeting with a supplier, meeting with a client and meeting with a partner, a business partner, which shows a context of a gastronomy festival, and the entrepreneur wanted to enter this gastronomy festival and had to deal with supplier, clients, etc. Our second role play was about human resources management. So we did 3 scenarios. One was the entrepreneur had to conduct a job interview and had a candidate. Another one where the business manager had to deal with a conflict between his employees or her employees. And a last one, which was an annual report context. So each year or each 2 years, when you're a business manager, you have to give a review to your employee about how it has been and the possible evolution or outcomes. And we found out that a lot of entrepreneurs were not really prepared for this kind of meetings. They didn't know which they had to cover, so it was really interesting. And finally, our final role play was about financial skills. So we did only 2 scenarios for this one. A scenario where they had to pitch their project to a bank to access funding, and another one when they had to meet a banker for the first time to open a bank account and create a relationship with the future banker. So the main results we had on those role plays were that it was an effective exercise to strengthen key soft skills such as self-efficacy, self-esteem, and communication skills. We found out that a lot of them were underestimating themselves. So it was really good to show them how actually efficient they could be on such powerful moments. We also found out that it brings a possibility to future entrepreneurs to test themselves before achieving some milestones for the business. It gives them a first try on a commercial pitch, on a banking appointment or a job interview. So it's really good for them to train for the times they will have to do this in real life. And finally, it gave the participants an opportunity to network with other future entrepreneurs and to build a support system. A lot of them were really happy to be in small groups with other entrepreneurs that were in the same context as them, and they were able to build a lot of relationships, and some of them are still in contact, so it was a really good exercise. And even to speak with experts that they were interacting with gave them a lot of good advice. In terms of deliverables, we created documents, which is a toolkit on how to create and lead your own role play workshop. So it has a script template to learn how to build the role play from context to each scene. It has the script for the observation report model to have the deliverables for the participants. So the participant can have an analysis grid, with its strengths, its weaknesses, and how to work on them. So this toolkit is available on the website we set up for ESTEEM. I think Sarah will talk about it at the end of the seminar. But everything is available online, so everyone can download it to create their own role play workshop. And I think that's everything. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Iris Alsani, representing TDM 2000 International here today. What I'm going to do is going to present a brief summary of the last actions that complements the STEAM project related to one of the most aspects for an entrepreneur or a future entrepreneur, how to be able to improve your business idea, your business, if you have already established it, and how can you make it possible to have new funding or sustainable funding. The idea of this activity was to support the people involved directly in the project, but also be able to leave after the finalization of this project tools that are useful for people who would like to know more about these topics and improve their skills on how to bring their business in the next step, and how they can facilitate and reach funding through different donors. The target group of our activities is quite vast, because we direct our activity firstly to the direct beneficiaries of the project. This is a project that addresses the female entrepreneurship, but however, we extended it to a more general group of people. So and also like different experience on the field of entrepreneurship. At the same time, giving the first initial step to the ones who would like to have an enterprise in the future, or to already established entrepreneurs who would like to be more successful, or that are somehow struggling in accessing these opportunities. Our second target groups is related to any kind of educators, trainers, or facilitators who work on the topics of the education related to enterprise, entrepreneurship. And lastly, those group of professionals such as coaches, mentors, business counselors, and many other figures who follow people towards their path on establishing or improving their enterprise. Our intervention was directed towards three aspects. First of all, improve the skills of our participants in different aspects, such as, for example, the entrepreneurial skills. How can we ensure that a project is economically viable? Economic skills. How do we take our idea to the market? How we finalize and create the business plan, and in this case, according to the methodology of the Canva business model, which are the ways that you deal towards the financing of your company, bringing the added value to the market, and also how you translate this value to costs and funding for your enterprise. And lastly, but not for less importance, the financial skills. So which financial aid you can mobilize for your enterprise, how to prepare and how to benefit from it. And this brings us to the second intervention, which was the identification of the tools available for entrepreneurs and future entrepreneurs in at two levels, at the European level, but also at the local, national, and regional level of the involved countries, so respectively in France, Spain, Italy, and Portugal. So all partners went and did an identification of these tools that have been later on summarized in a whole publication. The last intervention was about using the materials that we developed and testing them at the local level in each country's partnership. And we had really good results related to our activities. The testing was very successful. Next one. As you will see in this slide, we organized trainings in each country from June to September 22, which included more than 60 participants in overall. And after the evaluation of these activities, we are very happy to say that we are coming up with a satisfaction rate over 85% from our participants. It's a major objective, and also gave us the right input also for making interventions and improvements in the modules that we developed. All the modules related to the improvement of the entrepreneurial skills were then summarized in a document that is now published, and we will show you later. In these modules, what we do is treat all the major aspects related to the entrepreneurship, such as what is an entrepreneur and which are the main skills that he should have, reference through different soft skills that improve and make them a better entrepreneur in the market, such as communication, how to be a leader, how to be able to sell and market your enterprise, and lately how to be goal focused and have a solid business plan to present later on to different fundings. In this manual, you will find 7 specific modules which present over 40 specific activities and workshops that could be run by trainers, facilitators. Whoever would like to do an activity and teach these topics, the manual is very intuitive and well explained. In each module, you will find different sections which explain to you aspects such as how can you do the introduction to one topic, which are the materials that you need, which is the time that you need to dedicate to these activities, the concrete activities, some theoretical input, and tips for the facilitators and the trainings on how to do the activities. And the last part is dedicated to debriefing, or generally known as the evaluation and the summary of these activities. The manual itself is based on the methodology of the non-formal education, which is a kind of education that takes place usually outside the classical classroom, let's say, on the schools. Is an activity that it's based on voluntary basis, so the people who are there like to learn and are there because they want to be and not because they are like obligated from someone. Really focuses on the contribution of each participants and learning by doing, which means they will be in this kind of activities, the participants are the center of the activities. The third results is a catalog of various financial tools that could be useful for entrepreneurs. Here we have a collection of over 40 tools, starting from various ones such as loans, grants, and also the catalog, besides the listing of these opportunities available for entrepreneurs and future entrepreneurs in the involved countries, goes also at the European level, identifying some of the main programs and financial opportunities provided by the European Commission. Here we are talking about a very vast group of people, because enterprises can be of many topics, subjects, size, field, and so on. So we really try to be as thorough as possible, but the opportunities are so much that we wouldn't have finalized this document, not even in 100, 200 pages. So I really invite you to go through and explore these 2 documents that are already available, and try to grasp from them what's more important for you, as you know better, which are the lacks on the training or things that you'd like to improve more in yourself, and also which are those tools that you would like to use in order to bring your enterprise to the next level. We're very happy that we had the chance through the ESTEEM project and the European funding to create these products, and looking forward to hearing also from your experience in case you're going to read and make use of them. Thank you.
Thank you, Elisa. And thank you to all the partners. All the activities that you have heard about, we all tried them. We all had pilot activities in all partner countries. And we invited Fundação da Juventude, and specifically Ms. Claudia Mateus, to share with us her experience from the activities that were carried out in Portugal.
Hi, I don't know if everyone can see me. I hope so. So before all, thank you all for the invitation, and thank you for inviting Fundação da Juventude in this seminar and be able to talk about our experience regarding the toolkit implementation. So Fundação da Juventude would like to thank, first of all, to ISCTE for the implementation of the toolkits, and also the challenge that was for us and for our students to be in those sessions. Fundação da Juventude works with students that sometimes are described like being in risk in youth risk. So it's quite important that this type of activities can be taken place in Fundação, and they were able to access this type of contact because in their daily lives it's not something that they come in contact with. And the toolkit sessions were quite surprising and interesting in the way that the students connected with the different contacts and the feedback that we received from them. Of course, the sessions that were more theoretical, so to speak, were kind of more difficult to pay attention to. It was quite expected that it went that way, but the sessions where the practical activities were implemented, like the role play sessions, were quite impactful in our students. Since it put them in some type of situations that most of them don't have the opportunity to deal with. We have students in our schools that they are forming or they are educating themselves to be salesperson, for instance, and they have some types of activities in our classes that deals with seller-client situations. But the role plays presented in the sessions were way more impactful in the way that they give them the tools to deal with some precise or some quite difficult expectations they will probably be need to address in the development of their professional path. I would also like to say that the more talked about sessions after the ISCTE sessions in our school were the ones regarding self-esteem development, how to act regarding economic partners and business partners, and also the sessions that talked about how to create and implement a business of their own. It's quite difficult in Portugal to have access to this information. It's quite confusing. So the few clues or the few structures that were presented in the sessions were quite good for them and quite interesting. Also, the type of skills that are needed to create, to develop and maintain business were also very talked about, mostly in our beautician students, that they are 100% filled with girls. So our beautician students are all girls, and they quite liked to receive information regarding how to maintain a business, how to start a business, and what type of qualities and soft skills they need to develop to maintain their own business, their own beautician business, for us to speak. So if this type of sessions were created to empower girls in creating their own business and to give them tools to confront them with the opportunity in which they can be entrepreneurs, it was quite successful, because most of all the girls that participated in the sessions, they now want to open a business of their own. So I'd like to take ISCTE to invite Fundação da Juventude and our students again, because even though the sessions were quite confusing sometimes, quite chaotic others, or maybe some students of ours did not seem too interested in the context, at least 2 or 3 girls that were attending want now to be entrepreneurs and to be their own business role models and leaders. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Claudia, for this powerful testimony. I don't know whether there are any questions from the participants to this webinar, either online. Again, you can use the chat box or hear from the participants that are with us in Lyon. You can address your questions either to the partners or to Claudia, which is here with us. Since I see that there are no questions, I think that the presentation was clear. We remind you that all the tools and methodologies that we have developed and tested are available online. We have published them on a platform which is called CMA Cooperation, or .fr, like France. But at the end of this webinar, in the next few days, you will receive the presentation. So you will see the link. It's available. You can go directly to the page and to download either the presentation or all the tools and methodologies that we have developed. On the behalf of the partnership, I thank each one of you who participate today. We very much welcome your feedback, so you can write to each of the partners to share with us your thoughts about this short seminar, about our tools, and in general about how to support women entrepreneurship. Thank you all, and have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Je crois que c'est les services com.